morning, Chicago and the rest of the world. Welcome to the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. This is season number 5, episode number 3. Why do your kids hate you? And we are definitely going to give you some life game. You want some game? You can get it right here, life game. My name is Eric McLeod, a.k.a. E-Money. Scotty Pippen.
Come through.
Podcast Pimpin'.
Indeed.
And as I am every week, I am accompanied by the titan of teen tech.
Come through.
The music mogul in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Which that music mogul in the making is going to change real soon. But he's the jigger of stock figures.
Indeed.
My co-host, co-creator, give it up for Big Stu.
Bo.
Big Stu, what's happening? What's going on?
You got it. We in it today, man, and feeling good on this beautiful morning. How about yourself, E-Money?
I'm here. This is one of those episodes we talk about the therapy episode. This is going to be therapeutic for me.
We
ready to get into this because we don't talk about this subject enough. I don't know if people will be willing to admit their kids don't really like them like that. They might hate them. So
we was just talking about how, like, you know, we definitely be front like it's all sweet, like, and I'm as I continue to, you know, engage with my own children, I'm finding more and more people feel this energy, and it's like, why we ain't talking about it? And maybe that's just some other psychological stuff happening. We don't want people to know it, but man, listen. I work with kids, but it's nothing like the feeling that I get from my own kids sometimes. Like they feel like they hate me. Why they
feel like they hate you, man? I've been through the same thing. I pretty much was clear that they hated me at a certain point. So yeah, that's tough to swallow as a parent. We're going to get into it. We're going to give you a couple of facts and figures. We're going to give you some personal experiences. And as always, the reason why we always say life game, we're going to try to drop some strategies or just some concrete things to think about, you know, for solution strategies. So that's where we at. Stu, do we want to let the people know about the merch a little bit?
Absolutely. Why do I? Absolutely, we want to let the people know about the merch. They can go to shopmoneygenx.com. Damn it, E-Money, I don't have it pulled up. I just don't have it pulled up.
It's all good.
But I'm about to pull it up.
All right.
Right now. I'm about to pull it up right now. So yeah, we got some new merch, and let me let you all know we got some new merch coming up real soon. Right. Okay. Here we go. We got some new merch coming up. Let me share the screen.
Yep.
Right. Let me share the screen.
ShopMoneySexGenX.com. All right.
ShopMoneySexGenX.com. If y'all ain't copped no new merch from us yet, then shame on you. Shame on you. Right. It's fall. It's sweater weather. And if you're in a warm state, we got t-shirts. Christmas is coming. The holiday season is upon us. Throw blankets and mugs with the red piping, E-Money's favorite.
No doubt.
Ease into eating better as we approach this holiday season.
Yes,
don't be too much of a glutton. Ease into eating better if you ain't already on it. We got stuff to appease the ladies.
Yes.
You know, we got champion quality product.
Yes, we do.
Right? Still stay masked up, y'all. The COVID is still out here, you know, and I know we all back, you know, everybody ready to travel, and some of y'all are traveling real heavy. But mask up in style. Money, Sex, Gen X. Book bags, backpacks, leggings, long sleeve, oversized t-shirts for the ladies to sleep in. I like my lady has this one. Yeah, that's a very, very nice one. Fellas, get it for your lady and let her come to bed in that. blankets, towels, tidy whiteies, boxer briefs for the fellas, socks, tank tops. Man, you said Mrs. McLeod has this one in the pink, right? The pink hoodie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, man, we got it, man. Who can I trust with my stuff? That's our mental health awareness brand line. So, yeah, man, we got stuff, man.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, this gear is for the bold. I know that word sex can throw people off, but this is for the bold. Get your money sex Gen X gear and represent the movement. And as I always ask you all, drop life game in the comments if you're out there so we know you're here.
Please do.
Get in these comments and let us know your perspective. We definitely don't think we know everything. We're having these conversations to try to get some insight ourselves. Like, comment, share it with somebody that you think would appreciate the content.
Indeed. I'm tagging some folks on Facebook right now. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm tagging some people
good.
Here on Facebook, man, to get in on this conversation.
Okay. I would do the same thing, but I'm afraid I'll mess up my setup. So maybe I'll tag them afterwards. But yeah.
I feel that. That's real life.
Yes, sir. All right. So let's start sliding into this conversation here. So it's really clear, why do your kids hate you? Right? And we found some interesting things. So we have our researchers, Olivine Spencer Consulting. They took a dive into this and they found a couple of things that I want to bring up. Let's see what we got here. One thing is, there was a study published in 2010 that said that parents in the U.S. are twice as likely to be in a contentious relationship with their adult children.
Really?
As opposed to other countries like Israel, Germany, England, and Spain. I thought that was something to think about. Okay. Another fact that they came up with, Stu, is moms often believe that their ex-husbands or children's partners are responsible for why their children hate them.
So wait a minute. Read that again. Read that again, please.
Let's let that one sink in. Moms believe often that the ex-husband or the children's or the ex-husband's partner, so they got remarried or whatever, are responsible for why the child hates the mother.
Wow.
Often. They use the word often.
Wow.
So that was okay. I'm like, all right, I didn't necessarily know that. And then here's one that I really kind of jumped out at me, Stu. It said most estrangements between a parent and an adult child are initiated by the child.
By the child?
Yeah, and this was a study that was done back in 2015 of more than 800 people. So initiated by the child. And the last one I want to give up is the New York Times did a study fairly recently, back in July, and it says that 27% of Americans are estranged from a member of their own family. And research suggests, Stu, that about 40% of Americans have experienced estrangement at some point. The most common form of estrangement is between an adult child and one or both parents. A cut is usually initiated by the child. Some heavy stuff.
Very, very heavy. So, I have already early in this. There's probably going to be a few of these right here.
Moment of transparency.
Might have a few of these this episode, Eva.
All right, okay.
One of my children, at an early age, knew that she wanted to be emancipated. That this family was not serving her, and she wanted out. So I can identify with that initiation by the child wanting out. I can identify.
That's tough. Now, for the younger viewers, or maybe people who may not be familiar with that concept, and I'm not asking you to go into anything personal, but what does that word, what does emancipation mean in that context?
That's for, it means to remove, to be independent. of your parents, to be independent, to be treated as an adult.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Okay. So they want to be on their own as an adult, even though they're not an adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Nicole,
Nicole,
what's going on this morning? I see Nicole out there, friend of the show.
friend
She
of the
said,
show.
"Wow, the fruits of anxious America."
Mm. They
Yeah.
want to hurry up. They're trying to rush the process. Now let me say, I also will say, I remember in my formative years, there were many moments when I was like, man, I hate my mom. I hate my dad. Many moments of that. So I just had to pillow talk it though.
Okay.
Scream into the pillow or go in my room, mumble something under my breath, you know. But I understand those moments, but not to the extent of wanting to disassociate myself from my family. I don't understand that. And
Yeah.
that hate was in the, I mean, it wasn't even hate, but that anger, frustration was just in the moment. And that's kind of where it stayed, in the moment.
In the moment, and you probably didn't actually hate them. You just felt that in that moment.
I was being treated unfair or something, or,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can relate to the what do you call it, estrangement aspect,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was growing up, I didn't really have a ton of issues with my parents per se. But when I got older as an adult, I definitely became estranged from my father.
Mm. It seemed like your father was always dropping game, like giving you, but something else was there, something stronger, huh?
I think the game dropping, I guess maybe I received it differently once I became a father.
Okay.
But the way that he was delivering it when I was a young man, it didn't seem like game itself. It felt like something else. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, based on situations that were going on between him and my mother, I chose to, estrange myself from my father. And I really didn't realize that, Stu, until we got in this episode, because I read these little statistics, but I didn't see myself in it until we started talking.
Okay.
So I initiated that between myself and my own father. We're cool now, but definitely can relate, as I'm understanding what this is. So yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, anytime you don't want to deal with your family member, that's a problem. So
Yeah. As I am tagging family member, you're not on your phone, right? You doing it from the computer, right?
yeah, yes, I am. Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the link so you can be tagging folks to the live, because it's streaming live on YouTube right now.
Oh, good,
And
good,
so
good.
I'm gonna send it to you. You can send it out to folks, because I think a lot more people than we really realize need to be in on this conversation.
Yeah, we really want to hear from you all today. And we're going to try to have a focused conversation. So, why do my kids hate me? So, we want to get into some of the easy layups of this. Like, there's some quick, easy ways that your child could start hating you from what we've been shown. One, Stu, is that you insist on being right.
All right, so we dropping some actual factuals, and
We're
here we
dropping
go.
our actual factuals. We do that every week. The first one is, and these are research based, situations where people were surveyed, and you come back and see what the common ground is. So you insist on being right.
Me, the parent, like it's my way or the highway.
Your way or the highway, right? So I think that's a tough one, because if you're the parent and you're the one paying the bills, it seems like you would have the leeway to be the one who's right. But it seems like that by the child is interpreted as something else.
Yeah, I see that. It's man, I don't even know I don't even know if there's an answer to it. So that just makes sense. Like, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I'm the boss. This is my house. This is my rules. What I say goes. Some of this is how I was parented, but some of it is, this is my house. This is my house. So, and what you're wearing don't go right, and and your conversation I don't like. Yeah, I can see how that's every argument is you don't know more than me. And
You
I'm
don't
sure
know.
that's off-putting. I look, I wouldn't want to be with nobody, be around nobody who think they always right. Like, come on, son.
Yeah.
Always right. You can't learn nothing from me. I ain't never right. So like, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well, that's tough. So,
Oh
as
man.
parents, what do we do in that situation, right? So the kid hates you for one reason because you think you're always right, but you are paying the bills. You are keeping the household going. How do we find that middle ground? I wonder.
So it's interesting as I think about this, and audience, we have not rehearsed this conversation. I E Money is responsible for sharing the data, the research, and as we like it, as I like it, I often get the talking points right before the show. So this is unrehearsed. Um, and to answer your question, is I think about this. I think one of the things that I got to find the balance on is respecting the perspectives of my child, respecting a 12-year-old's perspective, respecting a 17-year-old's perspective, respecting because I have 2-year-old twins now. They're two now. For those who've been following the show, they're now two, and they are forming their own personalities. And at two, I think it's going to be super important to fall back and respect their how they see the world. And my way ain't always right. And I have to get okay with that, man. It's
Yeah,
okay. You can learn from a young person, man.
you can learn from a young person.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom will probably accuse me of being too in tune with my children's perspectives.
Yeah, I've
And
heard that.
still, I feel like you can do that and still end up being hated at times. So, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
So I had a situation last night, this morning. I got a text. Somebody needed me to send them some money.
Mm-hmm.
The old me go out and come back in, E. Go out and come back in. I'm gonna hold it down for you.
Go ahead.
Go out and come back in because you got a major lag. Okay. Go out and come back in. It's all right, y'all. It's real life. We doing it in real life, real time. Y'all stay with us. This is the Money Sex Gen X podcast. Like, subscribe, share, throw in life game. This is life game. Real conversations between real people about real things. Real conversations between real people about real things. We are talking about why do my kids hate me. We are going through the actual factuals right now. E Money is jumped off. He'll be jumping right back on. But I want to hear from you all in the chat. Why do you think your kids hate? Do you think your kids hate you? And kids, do you hate your parents? And I'm talking kids to us grown folks. Us grown folks. Do you hate your parents? Have you ever hated your parents? Right? So drop that in the chat. We're on actual factuals and we're just trying to wrap our minds around this insistence on being right as the parent. So E, you were gonna say something. You were saying, I was telling you the story. You there?
Yeah, you were talking about
All
yeah.
right, I was telling you the story. So my old me would have what? It's this late. I'm judged and what you doing? Why you and instead of just either you gonna send it or you ain't. So the new me
That's what it come down to, right?
at the end of the day, man. So I just sent it and held my opinions to myself. Are you okay? Are you safe? You need me to come and get you. All right. No, you good. You just need. It don't matter what you want to do with the money or nothing. It don't. None of that matters. All that judgment piece, my opinion. So that's me and my new awareness. I'm hoping that is part of this. Like, it don't have to be my way. It don't have to be my way.
Don't have to be your way.
No.
Right. I'm gonna try to learn from that. I'm gonna try to learn from that, Stu. The
Yeah.
second thing that we came up with is you don't, and I guess it's more so for older people or maybe older teens, older children, but it's you don't know who they are now. So it's like, yeah, you raised me from a kid and all that, but I'm not that same person. And I guess that could be a big deal, especially coming into adolescence. It's like, yeah, I'm 12 or 13. I'm not that same individual from when I was 5.
That's real.
Yeah.
Do you get that answer when you ask how was school? Do you get what answer do you normally get? E? Do they tell? Do you kids tell you?
Yeah, they're pretty. My kids are pretty forthright about what happened in their day. They are. I gotta give them. I'm sure that I know they're not telling me everything, but I get a pretty solid response back. Yeah.
And maybe you raised them up that way. I don't get that. I get, yeah, it was okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm pulling teeth. But I think to that point, I asked that question because I'm trying to stay in tune to who they are. But and you and I have sons that are approximately the same age, around the same age.
True.
And my son, I recognize, is forming his own perspectives, his own opinions, and I'm not sure. I'm no mind reader, so I don't know what's in his head. I don't know how he's perceiving the world, which is taking me to the point where now, I truly don't know my 20-year-old like I thought. I don't know. I don't know what's important to her. I don't know how she processes. I don't know. I don't even know who her friends are. I don't know who I don't know. I really don't know who she is now. I really don't. Which it's not terrible.
Nah,
it gives me room to grow, to learn her again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so I have an 18-year-old daughter. I guess I'm just learning that you kind of alluded to this. It's like you got to kind of let go of some stuff that happened in the past and just deal with the present moment and try, like you're trying to do with your 20-year-olds, try to get to know them and forget about the old stuff that could be holding a relationship back. Because at the end of the day, does it really matter? Right. And so just taking the time to take those calls from her and talk to her about her day. And you said this earlier, without judging.
That part.
Just listen.
That part. Very hard.
Just listen to what they have to say and stop, And so me and Stu, every episode, we're not trying to be judgmental, and we're trying to work in these conversations, but we work on that every day with our children. Like, just listen. What's going on with my child? Who are they? So have I mastered it? Of course not. But
yeah,
I'm aware that I need to try and do that.
And again, these points that we're bringing up aren't points that we came up with as we sat down and said, here's what parents should do. No, this is research based, and we're discussing it in real time right now. So, we're working it out. We're working it out with you.
Right here in this episode. Believe me. So yeah, we and getting those comments, like if you're out there, we would love to hear what you have to say. Whether you get in the comments during live or if you catch the show afterwards, we love to hear your insights. But what experiences have you had with insisting on being right with your children or just not knowing who they are now? Those are the first one we came up with is you've locked them into outgrown childhood roles. And that kind of ties into number 2. But it's like, hey, I'm 20. I'm 18. I'm not 3.
Dang.
How do we get out of those outgrown roles, Stu, and treat the person at the age that they're at right now? And I'm at a loss for that because I don't, when I see my children, I see my baby.
Oh yeah, that's terrible, man.
13 and 18. I don't see that.
I agree with you, and as I hear it and know it to be true, it's terrible. That's not fair. That's not a good look That's not a good look to only see them, to lock them into their childhood roles. That's not a good look. I bet who wants to come around that, man? You're gonna keep me held in my past?
And we don't want that as parents, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
You
I don't
want me
even.
to? You want to look at me like dad from 10 years ago? I don't want that.
Or as even as you know, and I think about me as a parent because I'm thinking about my mom, you know, and and when I was 40 years old, she's calling me her baby. It's just like I'm not, but I will always be
her baby.
her baby. I will always be. So we've locked, and I think the awareness that we can't do that. Like the awareness is they're adults or they're young adults. They're not kids. We shouldn't even sometimes we talk to our kids like we own them. Like they're here to serve us.
Yeah. And I think we still call them little cute names that we used. I know I'm guilty of this. You're calling them the little cute name that you used to call them when they were 2 or 3, but they're not 2 or 3. I think kids don't like that either. It's like, yo, you calling me Biscuit, just whatever you call your kids. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm about to go out to the club. You call me Biscuit? Like, what are you talking
about? Right.
I think those are the things we have to kind of look and see, like, what does that look like on a day to day? I think that's a big thing that I've noticed for myself.
Yeah, man.
So that was number 3, and then number 4, Stu is, and this is something that I know you and I could speak a lot about. But number 4 is you think divorce still doesn't bother them. You, the parent, think that the divorce doesn't still bother them because it doesn't bother you anymore, or it doesn't bother you as much as it used to, Stu. But we think, oh, well, I'm cool, but these kids are not cool. They're still bothering them.
Yep, I know that to be a true possibility. I believe, as we are 2 divorced fathers here, I believe for sure that the divorce has an impact in my interaction with my children. Not to put mom out there, than my ex-wife out there, but I mean the facts is she believes that that's not a non-factor anymore. And
really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I know how long it took me to get over my parents' divorce. It took me 25 years. It took me 25 years,
man,
to get over my parents' divorce. They got divorced, they got separated when I was 15, and it wasn't until I was 40.
40. Okay, so you just recently got over it.
Just recently got over it. No therapy during that time, But that divorce, seeing my dad with his new wife, bothered me, and so it impacted sometimes how I interacted with my dad. Yeah.
They're my babies forever, but we're relearning them as grown people is a lot. Yes, it is, Nicole. It is a lot. It's not always easy. Yeah, I went through that too, Stu. I saw my dad one day after the estrangement. Him and my mom's were done, and I'm estranged. And I saw him riding down the street with another set of children.
Ooh.
And I don't know what the situation was. I mean, he had some chick in the car. I don't know what was going on there, but I'm like, wow, this dude, he got a whole nother family.
Wow.
And that really tore a knife through me. As tough as I thought I was, that really, and didn't call him to ask the situation. He could have just been giving him a ride.
Yeah.
To his defense, but it is like, wow, this guy, he got a whole nother family. Me and my brother, we just out.
Dang.
Wow. So yeah, I can relate to that in that sense.
And I can too, as I have more children. Oh, the sun is, I'm messing up on my end. more children, and I I'm sure that pisses my kids off, to some degree. So yeah, man, that divorce piece. Look at my screen, bro. It's going
Yeah,
down
yeah,
over here.
it's all good.
I'm
That's
gonna
what
have to.
happens when you go live.
Yep, yep. I'm gonna have to make some changes on my end real quick.
So if
But
you're just tuning in, you're rocking with the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. This is season 5, episode number 3. We're talking about why do your kids hate you? And we're really trying to dig into this topic and get to the bottom of, maybe some things that we're doing as adults or, as parents as to why our children might not really favor us the way that we want to and want them to. And in some cases, they actually like really, really don't like us to the point of hate. And we're trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out.
on camera,
We have
on camera,
technical
we're figuring it out all right now.
But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. So I'm gonna take
Indeed.
you all to the next point, which is you can't let them lead their own lives, Stu. I'm going to talk about this one a little bit. So we all as parents, we've heard this a million times. You have in your mind what you want your child to be. You might be like, hey, I want my kid to be a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, whatever it is. And they might come and be like, hey, I want to be an artist. I want to go into the music industry. I want to do something totally different than what you want me to do as a parent. And I think I've been guilty of that a little bit as well. It's like you have such strong goals and parameters for where you want your child to end up. You're not even looking to see what they're interested in.
Right.
Or maybe even creating situations to kind of gauge what they're interested in. I mean, as parents, can we really say we know what our child's true interests are? Or do we kind of focus more on what we want their interests to be?
I think it's more focusing on what we want their interest to be. I think about that time that I wanted to DJ, and shout out to Ma Dukes, but she was like, "Nah, son, you need to get a real job. Don't focus on that. I wanted to be a barber. Nah, son, need to get something more solid."
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, hey, I could
being
have
a
been
barber is pretty solid, but I understand.
being a DJ is pretty solid.
That's one of my aspirations too.
I know, but yeah, I also call this the projection phase. We project our fears, shortcomings, lives onto our kids. We say it all the time. You represent me.
Yeah.
So we need them to do a certain thing, a way to make us feel good about ourselves. Damn.
That's kind of heavy, man.
That's real heavy, man.
Well, it's really about us, not the child. Yeah, that's heavy. So what would you? Well, let me see if I can think of something. What would I suggest for a parent to do to get around this? So you want they want to lead their own lives. How do you release yourself from? Well, I wanted you to be an entrepreneur, for example. How do you connect with what they want and disconnect from what you want?
I'm trying to. I think the answer for me is practice respecting that I've given my kids life game from pre-birth. And part of that is, and I think about one of my children specifically, but I think about all of my children. I'm preparing my children to be independent. And so my hope is, and has always been, that they take what I've given them and they exceed far beyond what I've been able to accomplish. And I want to practice just trusting that that job was a good enough job. They got it. Like, so I've given you the game. You've remixed it to fit your life, and let me be okay with that. So go ahead and might not be how I would do it. Let me let you go do it. Go.
Hmm.
Fly, bird, fly, little bird.
Fly away, fly away. Yeah, let them fly out the nest. Okay, I'll try to
What do
work
you
on
think?
that.
What do you think? You got anything, or is this like you
I
stuck on
like
this?
that. I mean, I'm sort of at a loss for all these things because my
Yeah.
parenting skills are
Whew.
a work in progress. I'm in real time trying to figure out some real heavy stuff. So I don't really know. I'll just say what I'm going to try to do is try to be in the moment more with my children and just kind of, like we said earlier, like just accept or listen to what it is they're trying to do with their lives and try to accept it.
I
You
want
know?
to make sure that I want to make sure, Eric, that this conversation, this topic isn't us coming off like we're complaining or we're having a pity party. Um and like we're two black men that is over here whining, why do my kids hate me? That's not what it is. What I think I want to just clear up is
But
we
what's wrong
recognize.
with that though?
Oh, well, I don't want to be I don't want to participate in the pity party. I'm
Well,
not
let
interested
me
in
say
that.
this to you, brother. I'm strong too, and I get that. But I think part of the, and I want you to finish your point, but I think part of the problem with black men, I won't even say problem. I think one area for growth for us as black men is being able to say, I'm not really feeling 100 about my parenting situation. You know, I don't
Yeah.
have it all figured out. There's some issues, and I'm still a man. I'm still masculine, but I'm trying to figure this thing out. And I think if more of us were comfortable doing that, maybe we would get to some solutions faster.
Yeah, I agree. And I am on record as saying that I believe my parenting skills, look, according to my children, contrary to popular belief, and I know I'm a good dude. I know my intentions are in the right place, and I know I've done the best that I could do. But let my kids tell it, bro. My parenting skills suck, and I've always wanted to know like why. And I think the research is showing me some things that I've done to contribute to these terrible parenting skills, or not even the terrible parenting skills, contributed to why my kids may have an issue with me. So Nicole is saying social media, reality TV, family, foes, throwing rocks and hiding a hand all contribute to the hate.
That's a great point, Nicole.
Woo,
Yeah, it's not
woo.
just you and the child. There's a bunch of other factors. Yeah, that
Especially that
TV is
last
a
one.
big deal, man. That social media and TV and fam and foes.
Throwing rocks and hiding a hand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Wow.
something to consider. Something to consider. Okay, so let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Thank you.
Number 6 is you ignore, Stu, their boundaries. Now, who would think a kid could have boundaries in your home that
No, no,
you
no.
need to respect, right? So we feel like, yeah, we got the boundaries that you need to respect in my house. But this is saying, well, you need to understand, I guess, what their boundaries are and respect them and stop ignoring them.
We have to treat young people, we have to teach young people, our children, to have boundaries. It's important to have boundaries. But I do know of some parents who have literally unhinged doors in homes. Like, you ain't got no boundaries up in here. Everything in here is mine. Like, nah. And yeah, that can be damaging, I'm sure. So it's boundaries with respect. I had a hard time, but I did it. I had a hard time with knocking on my kids' doors before I entered. Why am I knocking? This is my house. Open the door. But that's not fair. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah. That door thing is that a black thing with the door?
Nah,
It comes up a
nah.
lot. I mean, I was talking to my lady about the other day because I'm one of the rare parents. I don't care if you close the door, but I catch a lot of, I don't want to say ridicule, but commentary about the fact that not from just her, but just from people like, oh, you letting them close the door? And my whole thing is there are times that I don't want to see him in that moment. I need the door to be closed. I need some separation so when I walk by, I can kind of clear my mind. But also, I have also been on the other side where it's like, why am I knocking before entering? I've been there too. So you're saying the door thing is not just a black thing?
I don't think so. No, because I'm clear. I've seen other cultures of people, and I mean, let me just say, I've been an incident of white folks I've heard of white folks of taking hinges off the doors.
Oh, okay.
I've experienced it. Yeah, like
Okay.
no, you ain't gonna just be up in here doing what like nah. This is all mine. I can rifle through, and I have rifled through bags, under mattresses, checked book bags. I had because I thought I had to in order to, like, who's gonna reveal to me that they carry a mace, a razor blade, maybe a gun, maybe some pills, maybe some marijuana. Who's gonna reveal? I want to see what this note is that you pass. And going back to the previous points, I want to know who they are. I want to know how they really thinking. I know people have, the duality of man. You can have, put on one face and then behind that face is something else going on. So I've always felt entitled to what is going on.
I think I'm in the opposite camp, Stu, and maybe this is why I've had some hate, but I don't want to know all of that.
You don't want to know?
Nah, I want to put my children in a situation where they're safe, but I don't want to know every note that you have. I don't want to know what's in your book bag per se. I don't know. My mother was kind of like that. It's like, well, kind of, but I just don't want to know all that. And that's not, I understand that that's probably not good, but it's like, I have to feel like I've raised you well enough to trust that you're not going to go but so far. If I have to kind of manage everything in your book bag, I don't know. I would have to struggle with that. I don't know.
It's for me. It's not that. It's just like, you got to do these checks. You got to check, because for me, I would hate to be the parent that was like, if something goes down, it's like, well, you ain't know. It's your child. They in your house. How you not know? You not paying attention? And I think that, I'm not trying to be losing sleep over these kids, which I have. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to, but I think it's important to know. You just don't want to be. Look, here's a good example. I've said, in the Chicago streets, these kids that's out here doing all this, them our kids. Those are our kids. Those are our nieces, our nephews, our cousins, our little brothers, and our little sisters. Why are we acting like we don't know what's going on? There's a lot of it is choosing to be naive. And I have, on many occasions about many things, chosen to be naive about it for actual factual, right? Mm-hmm. But it's some stuff is just like, you got to dig in. Nah, it's not. You got to get in there. You got to get in there.
I wonder, I would say this, I like the fact that we are bringing up two different perspectives. Nicole said, my saying for 2021 is, y'all not about to worry me into wrinkles. Yeah, I'm feeling that. It's hard not to get worried into wrinkles with kids. Like, and I think that's why I don't do all these checks and Gestapo tactics and all that. It's like, this is what I was going to say is because, first of all, I do think it's necessary to a degree, but does it actually help in the long run. So when we look at the
Wow.
final product of all of our efforts, I just wonder, does it ultimately help? Maybe it does. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't. And that, to your point, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just continues to dig in this characteristic of mistrust. I can't trust you. You're gonna be going through my stuff. Maybe it's a bad parenting tactic.
Or is it bad parenting on my end and telling the child, well, he doesn't care enough about me to check my bag?
He ain't gonna check. I can bring the dope over here, y'all. Bring the bricks over here. Dad ain't gonna check.
He ain't gonna check. So I don't know. Now I do feel like on the good side of my parenting, I am pretty observant in my people skills in terms of people's body language and things. That's what I more so go off of.
You said that. And
so that helps. That helps. I'm not, but yeah, I'm not gonna be checking the bag like that. So okay, all right, I'm learning something. I might have to adjust a little bit.
No, but that's a good one because we've talked about this. Your ability to pick up on body language is your skill set that you have, and I'm tangible. I need to touch it. I need to see it. I need to look hands on. What's happening? Right. So that's good. Let me fall back a little bit and let me fall back. I'm the nosy parent, man. What's in there? Now I have given all of my children journals, and I make sure I don't go through their journals. But I'm checking. I have checked book bags. I have checked drawers. I have checked under the mattress for sure. Mm-hmm. I have, and I'm looking. I want to just see. I haven't found anything. Keep my fingers crossed. And maybe with my youngest too, maybe I don't do that going forward. Maybe that was my old school parenting style, but yeah, got some work to do. What else is next, man? What else you got?
So I guess we can learn from each other's tactics. We'll take a little bit from both. All right. So ignoring the boundaries, and then you got, and this is a big deal, Stu. You listen, and this is an issue in romantic relationships as well. You listen, but you don't hear them. You listen, but you don't hear your child, and this could be why they hate us. So I'm before we even say anything, I know we've both been guilty of this. We don't even have to wait for an acknowledgement, right? But I think we should get into why. Why do we listen to our children but not hear what they're actually saying? Is it because we've just been programmed to do that, or it was because it was done to us? What do you think?
I think it's from here. Yeah. I think it goes back to an earlier point. Like, we insist on being right. Like we're parents. We're supposed to know it all. Like we minimize their opinions about it. So we're not valuing their perspectives. What could you possibly know? You're 6, you're 10, you're 12, you're 17, you're 20. Like, you don't know nothing. Like, you live a little, keep, it sucks. It sucks. I hear us parents, I hear how we talk to these kids. Like their opinion doesn't matter. Like, they not talking about nothing. They not, I'm hurt. I'm hurt right now. I'm smiling, but I'm hurt because I see myself in this research, in these points.
You and me both, brother.
And it's painful to know that I have contributed to some of the disconnect between my children and I.
Yeah, and this leads into a bigger conversation. It's like, one of the things that I would like to see evolve in the school system, I'm not going to go on a tangent about the school system, but one of the things I would like to see evolve, as we've talked about, we need financial literacy classes in K through 12. We definitely need family development courses or something to kind of orient you as to what is the family dynamic and understanding that as a child, and then what is my role going to be as an adult with children. I think we wait too long to introduce that to people. It wasn't really introduced to me until I had a child, which is way too late. So even this list that we're talking about, Stu, what if we had gotten this list 18 years ago, 20 years ago, and really kind of understood it? Now, we would have only understood it to an extent if our children were small, but just kind of knowing like, hey, this might be some stuff that I want to stay away from.
Man. Yeah, I think it would have had a true impact on having children instead of just the ideology of go to college, get a job, start a family. You know, having these like, okay, remember I always talk about and then they lived happily ever after, and then the movie goes off. Nobody talks about how did they survive the happily ever after. And this list would have been very helpful, specific to raising children.
Yeah.
And I dun 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 dun.
Another moment of transparency. Beautiful.
Oh man, I just thought parenting as a man was just having kids, man.
That's just enough, ain't it?
Damn.
I had the kid. I'm a man, you know.
I had the kid.
I made it happen. I gave the woman a. You remember this thing we would say? I gave her a baby.
Ooh.
I gave her a baby. You know, kind of starting off on the wrong foot.
Oh man, the foundation was a deck of cards.
Yeah. It's rough, man. That house of cards is really, it can be blown down so easily. Hey, and if you're just tuning in, this is the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. I got my main man, Big Stu.
Bo.
You got the merch on deck. Shop Money, Sex, Gen X podcast, moneysexgenx.com. I hope I got that right. Yep. Shop moneysexgenx.com. You get the merch. Keep the movement going. We are trying our best to do this conversation some justice.
Man.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Nicole's out there getting in those comments. We want to hear you all's perspectives. Like, do you agree with what we're talking about?
I got somebody.
We talked about 7 different things. We want to know, like, is this stuff resonating with anybody out there?
I have somebody who was unwilling to put in the chat, but has texted me. I guess they're watching and texting me.
Okay.
And this young woman says, most fathers don't want to know. I've personally experienced my ex saying that it was her fault that the kids don't like him.
Help me understand that one.
That was going back to the most mothers think it's their spouses. So she's agreeing that she says fathers don't want to know. No, I'm sorry, I read it wrong about the going through their kids' stuff. Most fathers don't want to know. I personally experienced my ex saying it was too much information. TMI.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Crazy. It's like, I mean, I would imagine that, you know, I never talked about this with people, but I would imagine there's people out there who's like, nah, that's just too heavy. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you don't care, but it's like, you know, I don't want to deal with that. I don't even like to say I don't want to deal with it. It's too much. It's too much if I have to do that. So, okay. All right. I appreciate that comment, whoever you are out there.
Yeah, I'm going to leave her anonymous. She wants to be anonymous, so I'll leave her anonymous.
All right. Let's keep going, Stu. Let's keep going. So we got the next one is you take sides. And I'm imagining that this has to do with other children being involved. It could have to do with your significant other or your current significant other. Something goes down and you're taking anybody's side but the child. And so they hate you for it at some point.
What you supposed to do? I mean, not stay impartial?
Maybe. I don't know. That's the thing that I wonder with children in that child mind state is like, what is your expectation? Am I supposed to just not have an opinion about the situation, especially if you're wrong? So the child is wrong, and say the stepmom or somebody says something to rock with you, even though you're wrong. This just not a really, I don't know. It just is not realistic to me.
Yeah. I don't know either. I don't know how to do that. I have to practice that up. I have to practice not taking sides, staying impartial. I gotta figure that one out. I don't have an answer.
Okay. I'm looking for answers on that one too. So I will try to figure something out on that. So no, the next one was you triangulate. We got a big word here. You triangulate. You draw a third person into an issue that's only between you and the child. Now, Stu, what does that look like? You got to help me on that. Have you
I do it all the time. Yeah.
Oh, you do that. You're a triangulator. I do it all the time.
I think I'm Phil Jackson. I want to run a triangle, man. Okay. It's not good. As I read it and saw it today for the first time, I'm like, dang, that's terrible. So he and I are having a conversation, and to try to drive my point home, because I always have to be right, I bring in somebody else and ask their opinion. And he's my son specifically. It's like, dude, like I can see the look on his face in my mind now. It's like, dude, that's just between me and you. Like, why are you always pulling somebody else in? Like, especially from a kid's perspective, a child's perspective, I can see that being problematic. It's just between us. Why you gotta?
I wonder if triangulation also includes, because I'm guilty of this. So you and the child are having an issue, and then you reference another child that might be doing what you would want your child to do. I wonder if that's because you're bringing in another person. It's just in a different way, but you're still triangulating, I believe. It's like, yo, why don't you do this like so and so and so, or even the other sibling, like, yo, your sister's doing this, but you ain't doing it. I could see how that might breed some sort of resentment or hate.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. So that's triangulation. So ask yourself out there: am I triangulating? Am I a triangulator? And that's something to think about. Number 10, you take liberties. Now, this could get into some heavy stuff. Now, you take liberties that you're not entitled to. Now, when I see this, I think abuse. That's just the first thing that comes to mind for me. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, just things that are beyond being a parent. You're really, really going to another level with things.
Wow.
You take liberties you're not entitled to.
When I saw it, I thought about entitlement. You know, again, going back to just walking in a person's room, taking money out of an account of theirs, opening a credit card and then getting the credit card in their name, using them.
Great examples, yeah.
Using them for our own advantage is what I thought. It's like, yeah, taking from them. You've given them something, money specifically, and then take it back without their permission or without their knowledge. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, that makes me think about something else too, as far as taking liberties. It's like you might lean on them too much emotionally. They're a child, but you're coming to them with this heavy stuff about your romantic relationships, or this is what I got going on with your mom and all. I kind of see that in the same vein. It's like, this is a child. You shouldn't really be taking that liberty to put them in these situations.
Let me ask you a question.
I can see how somebody can hate you for that later. It's too heavy.
This hate also kind of digs into resentment, where they grow up resenting you.
I would say so. Yeah, I think it's all the same sentiment. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I hear hate, I hear like they just don't feel good about you.
Can you hate a parent but still be around them?
That's a
Can you
great
hate a
question.
parent and still love them?
Now that's beyond my comprehension, brother. I have to really explore that. I think, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think everybody would say yes quickly, but how is that? How do you have two such strong emotions about somebody at the? Yeah, I guess that I'm saying that. I guess so. You could hate somebody and still love them. I guess. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's a
Hate and
thin line between love and hate.
but that song suggests that you're going to the other side of it. You're not the line. It's a line, and you're going over the line, right? If I'm understanding that song correctly. There's a thin line between love and hate, but you're either on one side of the line or up or the other, not both. Am I thinking too deeply about that? It's like, nah, you either love or you hate. You're on one end or the other. You can't have both. That's just like me and you. I can't be like, yo, I hate Stu. I don't mess with him like that. But then I'm like, yo, I love that dude. That's my guy. Like it's two different ranges of emotion. Then the other thing that brings up for me is I suppose you can have different emotions about people at different times. So I love my mom or dad today, but then something happens and right currently I hate them.
You get a trigger.
Yeah, it might not
Something
be like an
triggers.
infinite point of view. It's like, yo, I don't really mess with my dad like that. I hate that dude. And then 5 years later, oh, I love my dad, man. That's my guy. So I would say that to say for parents out there, I think that might give us all some hope because if your parents hate you right now, I mean, your kids hate you right now, maybe it's just a temporary thing. And maybe they don't hate you all the time. Maybe they only hate us in certain moments.
I can get it. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it. This was and I don't know. I mean, this is deserving of this is a heavy, necessary conversation, particularly for the adults in the room, the parents in the room, as if and many of the people that watch us, they have, children, middle school to college age children, or some even older, and I think this is just a great episode to enlighten us on things that because we complain about our kids all the time, and I think this episode has shown me that some of that is warranted. Like not the complaints, but the way that our kids are responding to us by our own doing. Some of this we've brought on ourselves because we insist on being right and we don't really know who they are, and we've locked them into these childhood roles, and we act like the divorce is not a thing, and we can't let them make their own decisions, and we don't respect their boundaries, and we're not hearing them, and we take sides, and we triangulate, and many of us in times have even taken liberties that we're not entitled to, that show up. And if we're being honest with ourselves, Gen Xers and millennials and boomers, then we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and see how we can correct some of these things if you still have that opportunity with your children.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that. Like there's this myriad of things that you are doing. And I went back and looked up the word hate. That's one thing we didn't define, which would have been good to define at the beginning. But the definition that comes right up is a feel intense or passionate dislike for someone. So it's intense and passionate dislike. That's what we're talking about. And so, yeah, it looks like we are doing some things. Now, does that absolve the child completely? No, but yes, just because I'm the parent, I can't just do anything I want to do. I think we have to continue to acknowledge, Stu, that we need to get as many parenting courses and conversations and dialogues under our belt as we can, because we need the support. And you don't have to go out here and tell everybody your business to participate in something that could be helpful. You could get a therapist and talk about these things one-on-one. You could join a support group and maybe listen more than you contribute. You could take courses online on parenting. You could join these conversations. You might be listening to this now, rewind a couple of things and write a couple of things down. But there is a way to get to the other side of the hate dynamic. There is a way. Yeah, this was a good conversation. I learned a few things here.
So I need to do it just one more time. Look, let me put you don't know everything. Try to figure out what your kids are into. They're not babies anymore. The divorce is still playing a role.
Big one.
Hey, you've raised them. Let them make their own decisions and figure it out. Respect their boundaries. Really, really try to hear what they're saying without judgment. Stay impartial and keep it between y'all. And you are not entitled to what's theirs in any capacity.
True indeed.
Wow.
True indeed. A lot of food to process and build upon. Yes. So that's why your kid, I think we answered the question. So the question was, why do my kids hate me? I think we've done some justice to this. At a minimum, I think if you're listening to this or watching, you can kind of pull out a few things as to why and maybe try to work on them. I will do that. I can't guarantee success, but I think I have a better understanding of how my kids might feel in certain moments.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's get to this is our new segment that I'm really excited about. So we were doing characters from corporate, which is beautiful. I love it. Well, Stu and I are entrepreneurs, so we wanted to start getting into that entrepreneurship conversation. We see a lot of other platforms out there that they do nothing but entrepreneurship, which is great, like Earn Your Leisure, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Jay Morrison, all these different people. That's not necessarily our lane, but our lane is dropping life game. So we're going to talk about a specific tale. We call it Tales from the Startup. We got people who write into us and give us their experiences with starting a business or organization. And so we always read it out. You can be anonymous and just try to give up some game. So when we say game, something concrete that you can use in this situation, Stu. All right. So here's this week's installment of Tales from the Startup.
Let's go.
Hello, checking in from Maine. Yes, there are.
Maine.
They say, yes, there are Black people in Maine. Okay. I don't know how to do that. How to process that.
Yeah.
My Tales from the Startup is short and sweet. My buddies and I are trying to start a tech company. We have a really solid problem to solve for in a very large market. Okay.
All right.
Our backgrounds are diverse, and I feel like we make a good leadership core. There is one thing. None of us really want to do a written, business plan. This is right up me and Stu's alley, okay? We feel like we can sort of just run the business without wasting a bunch of time writing down stuff that will probably never be utilized. I'm interested in you and Stu's take on this.
Okay.
Tech startup, brother from Maine's got a crew, they're doing their thing. Yeah, they want to run the business and start it. They don't want to write nothing down, really. They don't want a formal business plan. What kind of game could you give on this, Stu?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. They don't do the business plan. Just go at it. Go for it. Go as far as you can go. See if it's even viable. I think the business plan is only for, I mean, obviously, I would imagine these guys have discussed some idea of how they're going to approach it. Give it a shot. If it takes legs, if it grows its own legs, you're going to need a business plan, because at some point you're going to have to bring in some outside money. And at another point, you just got to have a plan. You just got to have a plan in a place that you can refer to. Um, yeah, so I'm here for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go as far as you can without the plan, and just understand that at some point you will, if this thing gets big, you will need a formal business plan, but it won't be things as this person has stated, things that they'll never be utilized. It'll be factual, based on proven activities that have gotten them to a particular point. So it'll never be things that you won't utilize. It'll always be useful data and projections in there. So that's my take. What about you, E?
Big Stu dropping that life game. I love that. I love that, because the cookie cutter answer would have been, yeah, you need to write it down. No, you don't have to always write it down. That's my same response. Don't write it if you don't want to write it. The other thing I'll say is, if you have a business plan full of stuff that's not helpful, you can control that. I mean, even if you're getting somebody else to write it, you have to just tell them, like, look, there's some things that we really need to know. Don't put that fluff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to find out X, Y, Z. And that your business plan might be one page, but it might be one page full of stuff that you really, really need to get some information on. They always say, know your customer, know your client. So there's always more stuff that we can get from market insights that we can get. Focus on that. Focus on write a list out of the things that you feel actually are important that you don't know. Because I'm sure you would agree, person in Maine, brother in Maine, that you don't know everything. So what is that list of things that you don't know? That's your business plan. That's what you need somebody to go find out for you. But I agree with Stu. If you don't want to write it down and you feel like it's going to slow you down, go out there and do your thing.
You got the money, you got the team, you got the expertise, you got the know-how. Go do it. Again, yeah, I don't need to reiterate it, but I will. Just at some point, depending on how big this thing gets, you will need to come back to it, and that's fine. That's okay too. So yep. Go for it. Good luck. Let us know how it goes. I'm interested to know.
Now, Stu, we got a few minutes. I think we got more time than we usually do when we get to this point. I want to ask you, because you work in this realm, what do you kind of do to make sure people you're working with don't have a business plan full of fluff? What are your strategies to make sure, like, hey, this is like something that's useful?
For me, Eric, I called you Eric. For me, I'm serious now. Like,
Right.
It's understanding your mission. It really is understanding why you're doing this thing. Like, why are you doing this? And it's always going to be, if you're only doing this for money, then I actually don't want to move forward with you.
Okay.
So, and when you understand, like, beyond money, why are you doing this? I think you can't but focus on what's important in the plan, like what's important in the work that you're doing. And so why? What's your mission? What's your purpose? What is driving you to do this thing? And that's the best starting point. A lot of people are doing things just for money, which I'm saying is not enough. It's not enough reason. Just for the money is not enough reason.
It's a good point of view. It's a good point of view.
What about how do you look at it for your clients?
That's why I love our show, because like we have different points of view, but both are valid and have been successful. I'm kind of in the camp of, if I don't feel like you are concerned about money at all, I would prefer not to work with you. because to me, it's really not going to be, you really should go start like a not-for-profit or something. And even that, eventually you're going to have some significant revenue. But it's like, everybody has a great idea and all of that stuff. But I got to feel like you got the stomach to go out here and really get in front of people and sell this thing in a way that can convert into some revenue. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my point of view. Like, if I don't feel that, I'll probably be hesitant to even do a business plan, because it's like, you're not really trying to, part of solving problems for people is getting them to purchase the solution. Mm-hmm. And if you're not down for that, then it's a red flag for me.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. 100%. I just don't want money to be the only motivator. I don't even want it. I don't want it to be the number one. I want it to be the solution first. Like, you value what you're offering first, of course. And I don't help people start nonprofits. Okay. I don't help. I'm not in the nonprofit space. We trying to get to the bag. We all trying to get to the bag. And as Black folks, we need to be owning. Practice ownership. Own that thing. Sure. Don't be afraid to own it. And what's going to keep you in business is profitability. So we got that. But the money, for sure. But that's not enough. Because you'll be out here selling your ass for money. And that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, we probably could do a whole episode on this, because we have very varied point of views. But my thing is like, I want to help. I get tired of it. I want to help people. To me, that's not enough. It's like, everybody wants to probably help people, but again, you got to help yourself. Like, like I know when you're starting up a company, it gets rough. It gets rough. You don't know how certain bills are going to get paid. You don't know. It's a lot of uncertainty. So I need to feel something to let me know that when it gets tough, and they used to tell me this when I first started selling insurance back then, what's your why? Yeah. What's your why? Oh, I want to help people. I don't know if that's going to be enough, big dog. Like, that's cool and it sounds great, but I need you to help yourself. And part of you helping yourself is to make enough money so we can get to the finish line with you helping somebody. Now, I understand what you're saying. I really do. It's like, you just don't do anything for money. And I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is, this problem that you came to me to solve, let's make some money doing it.
Absolutely. That's where we agree on that part. Mm-hmm. Because I've been in situations. I had somebody hit me up this week offering me some life insurance, a young cat, one of my young people, just getting involved in Primerica.
Okay.
And he's pushing insurance on me. Yeah. He's trying to make some money.
No doubt.
But he's not hearing me. Like, bro, you can't just sell me anything. Like, but so it's not, you don't understand. Like, yeah. And I think there's a difference between getting a job working for a company, a corporation, versus, doing your own startup, where you need to have this perseverance and tenacity to get out of the bed when things look really bleak. Yeah. You still got to get out the bed you got to like keep that same energy. We got one. Miss Scarborough says, you want to read that, E?
I do. Sometimes the not-for-profit is a way to create your own salary and own your time to then be able to begin the journey to personal ownership. Now, Bridget actually know her. So she has a company called 501c3 My.org, where she exclusively helps people to build not-for-profits. And that is her approach. It's a not-for-profit structure, but she views it as a vehicle for freedom. And so, say you're on a corporate job, you're trying to get out, starting a not-for-profit could create another stream of income where you're like, you know what, I can leave this and go dedicate myself to that. So yeah, I feel that and understand that and have seen it and done it. So I do agree with that. Stu, what do you think about that comment?
Hey, Bridget, I'm glad that somebody is there to help people want to start nonprofits. I'm always challenged. I aspire, Bridget, to get to a point where I can support nonprofits. I desire to be a philanthropist, and but I think as Black folks, for me, my only perspective is like, look, we got to practice ownership, and you know that you don't own the nonprofit. It's society owns it, the board owns it, the people own it. So I'm just in this phase in my life of collecting intellectual and real properties, and and that's through ownership. And so again, I'm glad that there's somebody out there who can help people through the nonprofit 501c3 status, and that's cool. And I'm not, and I mean that is cool. But I'm still standing on the importance of ownership. LLC, C Corp, S Corp, that's important.
True that. And we actually have an episode coming up called Should You Start a Not-for-Profit?
Yeah.
I believe Bridget is going to be one of our guests. I'll make this final point. I know we got to go. My whole thing is generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that you can leverage a not-for-profit. Now, that's probably a whole episode, but it's like, how do you leverage a not-for-profit to build your generational wealth? I believe you can do that because I've done
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I'll say that and quickly is because you can go into a not-for-profit and gain certain skills and experiences that you couldn't gain on your job, and then flip that knowledge and expertise into a for-profit business. That's actually what I did. So I helped start a couple of organizations in my younger years. I was able to get some insights and get strong in certain areas, and I took that and formed the company that I work in now, which is definitely a for-profit. So we got to continue to think a little bit broader, I think, about what these vehicles can offer and provide beyond. And Stu, I'm with you on this ownership thing, but ownership of skills and abilities also. Ownership.
Well, that's the intellectual capital. That's the
it's all capital that can be flipped into something else. So yeah, we should do an episode about that. But yeah, I feel you. I thank you, Bridget, for chiming in. So yeah. So that Tales from the Startup took us into a lot of different places.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Let's keep that conversation going. So pool artist, do we have a pool artist for this week? Oh,
we do.
I know this brother. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a percussionist. It's actually, this guy's just an all-around musician. Full musician, plays instruments.
Good guy.
Plays multiple instruments.
Good guy.
And has his own. Go ahead. You talk about.
I was just gonna say he just hit me up. We've been trying to link up and keep. We wanted to talk about a couple things. He just hit me up Friday, I think. So
wow.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah. Well, we listen to a lot of hip hop on the platform, but I wanted to showcase there are other genres of music. So let's just take a listen to Mr. Rodney Gibson. You all can go check him out. On this song is called Tamborum. Peep this. Check it out. Let's go.
MusicSchool.com. like to hear more of that.
Hey, they can go check that. Hey, that's a great Saturday afternoon cut where you can go get your your whiskey or your bourbon or sit out back and listen to that jazz from some Rodney Gibson
Yes,
and
sir.
enjoy, man. That's a good one. I like that.
I'd like to hear more. I'd like to hear more. Me and Rodney got some more stuff to talk about now. I didn't know he was dope like that.
Oh,
Okay.
he's good, man. He's a consummate professional, brother.
What is that called? Tamborum?
Tamborum. He's only
Tamborum.
blessed us with one song on the platform, which is fine because that one song speaks volumes.
Yes, it does. And I
Glad
got
to
to do
have
my quick musicspool.com spiel. Hey, if you want to go somewhere to listen to emerging, and in Rodney's case, established artists, musicspool.com is where you got to go because it's all about fighting through the noise of Apple Music, Spotify. It's a lot to wade through to get to the next superstar or the next person that you just want in your musical library. And I'm blessed to be sitting here with one of the founders
Come on, man.
of musicspool.com. He
Yes,
founded this company with two other gentlemen who live in Europe. And it's a great story. You know,
Three other gentlemen.
Three of them. It's a great story. Every great company has a great story. I'd encourage you to find out that story of how he met these gentlemen and what they were able to do. You want to talk about proof of concept? It's already there. Musicspool.com. I have heard a number of great artists. I am a music lover. Never really messed with emerging artists too much. But when I went on musicspool.com, it opened my mind up and I heard a number of great artists. So please check out that platform.
Dive in, dope music. Dive in, some dope music.
What a tagline. Dive in, dope music.
Dive in, dope music. We cannot get out of here before we acknowledge E-Money's wardrobe. You just can't do it. And I know it's very subtle. I try to keep up, but folks, I can't. I just can't, and it's okay. I'm comfortable in my own skin, but E-Money is just a step ahead. He's got the fedora on today, and that clearly is a fedora. I see you rocking the black flower lapel. Is that black? Is that black?
It's black. It's black.
Black flower lapel with a classic white tee and flannel pattern sports jacket. Very casual yet classy look. E-Money brings that East Coast style and swag to the Midwest every time.
Appreciate it.
It's a real thing. E-Money's wardrobe spotlight. Keep doing your thing, and I'm sure that this brother just rolls out the bed. You know, Beyonce talk about she woke up like this. E-Money, that's how he do. This is what he do, y'all. So
now, you know better than that because I just came over your house the other day looking crazy. So, you know, but I try, you know, when you got a brother like Big Stu that you're doing something with, you got to come correct. Don't feed into that comment about he can't keep up. That is absolutely not the truth. But I'll accept the flowers. I try to do my thing. Big Stu is no slouch.
And he was not looking crazy. He had Adidas on and low, and he think he was. It's crazy for somebody on his status, but to the next man, they would have been on something. Now last that event, Smooth Sean did kind of take the cake at that.
Sean had the Gucci on and all that. And I'm sitting next to him like, man, I didn't know we was doing all that.
Yeah. Smooth Sean, he was on it, but E-Money, it does his thing. E-Money's wardrobe spotlight for sure.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So this is wrapping up season 5, episode number 3. We don't know which one is coming next, but it's coming. We will be at you soon. Like, comment, share, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.
Peace.